Rob here. It saddens my heart to even have to address this issue, but I feel I must. And that is racism. Racism has no place in today's society, has no place in our hearts or in our minds or in any organization. To judge someone by the color of their skin is ignorant and it is wrong. Regardless of the race that's doing it or the individuals that are doing it. It needs to stop. And the only way we're going to stop racism is to cut off the stereotypes and prejudices that lead to it. We were all taught wrong information, whether it's by our parents, by our family, by our friends, by organizations grew up in, society in general. And only by seeking to methodically, purposefully eliminate these things, by reaching out to the people or persons that make up that race, that culture, that community, whatever term you want to put there, and really get to know them on a personal level. Reach out, make a new friend. Not only will you grow as a person, but you'll learn a new culture, you'll learn a new way of viewing things. Isn't that what the human experience is about? To learn, to grow, and to adapt. To learn to see things from a different viewpoint. Hasn't it been said thousands of times that those who stop learning become obsolete? So let's make racism obsolete by learning. Truth and knowledge obliterate ignorance every time, because ignorance exists with lies and lack of knowledge. Once you enlighten yourself and gain knowledge, it blows ignorance out of the water. When you reach out and make a friend from a different community, I hesitate to use the word race because I don't want to perpetuate race. But when you reach out from someone from a different community from you, whether it be culture, country, whatever, reach out and make a new friend. Learn about that culture. Try some of their food. Try some of their dress. That kind of thing. Embrace each other. Learn from each other. Grow together. That is the only way you're going to defeat racism. Starting riots and posting nonstop posts hating those cops or talking about cops or this or that and button heads, not going to solve the problem. It's only going to perpetuate the problem again. Wasn't it Morgan Freeman that said, if you want race to stop being an issue, stop bringing it up? Ultimately, it's a human issue. It's one human being hateful to another human being. Two people or a group of people, I forget how many people were in the video, of a certain profession doing wrong. That does not make every member of that profession evil. And saying that every member of that profession is evil based on what a few corrupt cops do is as ignorant and wrong as people saying all members of a certain race, nationality, or group of people are a certain way based on a handful in that community. I worked with cops for over 13 years as an EMT. I can guarantee you most of them are very fun, jocular, hilarious people that are doing the best they can in hard circumstances. They see a lot of horrible things every single day. And that gets to you. I can tell you as an EMT, that gets to you. And they need your prayers. They need your encouragement. They need your love and prayers. They don't need more hate. Think about it. Nobody ever calls a cop for a good thing, do they? Nobody ever calls an EMT just to say hi. No one ever calls a firefighter because they're having a good day, are they? Or any other first responder you want put there. They see the worst of the worst of the worst every day. Now, I'm not justifying what those two people did. They were wrong. And I can tell you, a lot of my police friends would tell you the same thing. They were jackasses. They did wrong. And they should be punished for what they did. But rioting and looting and destroying people's businesses that they put their livelihood into, their finances, and destroying their financial future and their ability to support their families is not the answer. How is destroying your community itself going to solve the problem of racism? None. all it does is, in the eyes of those who are racist, justify their racist beliefs. By you're inadvertently proving their stereotypes and what they believe and say about you to be true. But if you put down the weapons of war and stop looting and destroying and start thinking of positive solutions, not as this community against this community, but a community as a whole, and actually make progressive, logical decisions, you can put an end to racism, in the very least, in your community. Now, I would love to believe that we could eradicate it entirely. But as long as evil exists in men's heart, it will exist on some level. But we can make it so socially unacceptable that they'll be even afraid to even peep it in public. They'll keep it to themselves. But it's time to stop being a house divided, America, whatever country you come from. It's time to stop being a people of divided human beings. It's time to stand up and break down those barriers. I challenge you, make a community picnic or something. Invite your firefighters, cops, EMTs, people from all the various communities that make up the greater community. Make no exceptions. Invite each and every one of them. Sit down at a table and talk. And don't just do it for show and invite the news cameras, but seriously do it from the bottom of your heart. Because only by getting to know one another and who we really are, only by getting back to the time, no, even better than the time when everybody knew their neighbor. The 1950s did have some good things about it, despite all the civil rights activism that had to go on to get groups of people the rights they have now. It did have one thing going for it that we do need to bring back. And that's everybody knew their neighbor. Everybody helped their neighbor. Everybody watched over their neighbor's property. When they went out of town, they knew their neighbors were going to watch over their property, take care of it, and nothing was going to go stolen when they got back. They didn't even have to lock their doors. Now, I know we're probably never going to go back to the point where we can leave our doors unlocked. Please lock your doors. But we can get back to the point where we know our neighbors. Where we know that we can trust our neighbors. Not only is that going to end racism, but it's going to make our neighborhoods safer all around. Because guess what? Drug dealers aren't going to be able to sneak in as much if everybody knows their neighbor. If everybody's supporting their neighbor. If everybody's watching over each other's kids to know where they're at and to protect them from bad influences, there's not going to be as many gangs either. I'm not going to say gangs are going to disappear. Of course not. There's always going to be there. But why did gangs form in the first place? The people looking for acceptance. Well, if they find acceptance in their community and they find acceptance with their family and with their neighbors, they'll be less likely to seek out acceptance in gangs. Because gangs also perpetuate racism. Because it's this race gang against this race gang. And then interracial gangs banging into each other. It all stems from the same thing. Hate. And the only way to defeat hate is with love. It's like Martin Luther King Jr. said, you can't destroy hate with hate. Only love can destroy hate. And that's the truth. So I challenge you, get to know people outside of your comfort zone. Break down those stereotypes and prejudices, and prejudices that have been taught to us from little on up. We all have them. We don't want to admit to it, but we all have them. It is time to stand against those things that divide us and think about the things that unite us. That's what will make not only America great again, but the world a great place. And for you fellow Christians out there, the church a much better place. Anyway, I've used up enough time on this subject. It really did break my heart to have to bring it up. I will leave you one final thought though. Pray for the family of the man that was killed. Regardless of what he did not deserve to be strangled to death. He was someone's son. Put aside your personal beliefs, your personal judgments, and pray for that family. Because you all know what it feels like to lose someone. Maybe it's not a husband or wife, but you've all lost someone at some point in your life, and you know what that feels like. Imagine how they're feeling now. They need your prayers. And pray for the police force, because they're getting a lot of backlash too. And most of them, I'm sure, just like police officers around here, are very hardworking people who don't hold up to the beliefs those who did those evil deeds had. And now their jobs are all the harder. And please, stop looting. Stop destroying people's livelihoods. Okay? Focus on the commonalities and solutions. Let's make this world a better place and learn something from this. Let this be the end of this nonsense, I plead with you. I don't know what else to say. You all have a blessed day, and please take this to heart.